Starting grid, Kevin Piper.
Welcome again to Wheels. The location tonight is Snetterton motorbike racing, the Race of Aces meeting in fact. For many years now the most prestigious motorbike race meeting in the region, and this year offering a wide variety of racing. There's the return of the JPS Norton, the only all-British team looking for more success in the Motorcycle News TT Superbike Challenge. A new machine, but problems on and off the bike. There's the first of a new series of races to help stars of tomorrow, the Super Teens. Some of them still at school, some of them already contesting senior national championships. The Sidecars are here as well, with two classes for the eccentrics who enjoy the low life at high speed. And there's the return of the rider who's been such a popular performer on the Grand Prix circuit, Ron Haslam.
Ron, nice to see you back at Snetterton. You've been travelling so far and so wide, you haven't forgotten what the circuit's like, have you?
No, I come here earlier in the year and had a real good ride with Rob Mack on that, you know, so it's nice to get back again.
Now, you're on a fast machine, a favourite machine, but you have had problems.
Yeah, the engine's going very well. We've got no trouble in that area, but we've got a slight problem with the back end handling-wise. Snetterton's quite a bumpy circuit, but hopefully we'll cure it before the race comes.
Well, we've got such a strong programme here at Snetterton that we can afford two bikes at one wheels. That's to say we've got two programmes coming from this one meeting. Let's get things underway then with the first round of the Motorcycle News TT Superbike Challenge, one of the top championships in British motorcycle racing. It's over 7 rounds, 2 races at each meeting, £45,000 worth of prize money. It should have all started at Thruxton a couple of weeks ago, but that meeting was a total washout. So it all gets underway here at Snetterton. The reigning champion is Trevor Nation on the JPS Norton, but he has problems.
Yeah, I certainly have. The bike's not been behaving itself, but the major problem is I've crashed on Friday, I've hurt my ankle, and I've decided not to ride. You know.
When you say you've hurt your ankle, you've probably broken your ankle in fact, haven't you?
Well, it was x-rayed and they say that it's not broken, but it feels like it's broken, and I really can't change gear very well, and I can't change from side to side on the bike, and I've got some stitches in my leg as well, which they're not really causing a problem because the hospital have done a really good job of that, but you know, it's just so painful I can't ride.
What about your own appetite for the sport? Is it still as strong as ever?
Yeah, it's you know, I'm really enjoying it now with JPS and Norton and back on the English scene. You know, it's sort of brought a lot of excitement to me, especially now I know I can win again.
Well, our bike's working very well. The Yamaha's working very strong. Around the turns especially, the Dunlops are working great. So I think it'll be like, I think Ron struggles a bit around the tight chicane section, and my bike works really good from there, so it should prove to be really good racing.
Ray, what's happened? You were meant to be our man with the camera on his bike, and you're out of business.
Yeah, I broke my little finger. I just went a bit too hard in the wrong place and paid the price.
So instead, the lucky man, or perhaps unlucky man, to get the camera on his bike is Rob Orme. Rob, now, how do you feel about it? Because it's a bit of a new adventure for you, isn't it?
It certainly is, for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's the first time I've ridden a 750, and it's a baptism of fire. I think that describes it quite well. And the second reason is camera bike for the first time. I've seen so many times on the TV the camera bike seems to be the jinx, but it's certainly not given me any problems psychologically or any other reason during qualifying.
So away we go then, round 1 of the Motorcycle News TT Superbike Challenge. Your commentators are Chris Carter and Keith Huewan.
And on the line then, the field for the first of the 2 Motorcycle News Superbike Championship races. A great start for John Reynolds, number 6 on the Team Green Kawasaki, number 6 there in the middle, and right behind him, Matt Llewellyn, the privateer on the Flitwick Motorcycles Yamaha. Well, Matt Llewellyn's had a great season so far, and there he is in 2nd place on the opening lap, ahead of the big guns. He looks like Jamie Whittam there in 3rd spot. Rob McElnay, the man, he's the hot favourite, and Ron Haslam in on 6th place. And there goes the Suzuki of Jamie Whittam. Not a match, it would seem, for the Yamaha, but there goes McElnay. McElnay through on the inside. The man who was quickest in practice goes through. Well, Keith Huewan here alongside me. A smart move there by Mr. McElnay.
Well, McElnay, he's got lots of smart moves. The man is relaxed in his racing again now and going really, really very, very quick in the British Championship. Superb rider anyway, now back from the Grand Prix onto four-stroke racing, and he's accepted his downgraded position very, very well indeed. I have to say downgraded because that's what it really is. A lot of Grand Prix riders can't cope with that downgrade, but this man is doing brilliantly. Look at him now.
Leading then, coming around to end the first lap, John Reynolds out in front, Rob McElnay in the 2nd place. 3rd was Matt Llewellyn, so over the line they go. Lap 1 in the book, Reynolds from McElnay. Reynolds number 6 on the team green Kawasaki, then Rob McElnay, then Matt Llewellyn, then Jamie Whittam, then Tim Bourne going well. Behind him, Ron Haslam, and Haslam having problems with the new Norton piece.
Yeah, the new Norton here is pattering at the rear end. Ronnie has struggled with that all year long. For those of you who don't know what pattering at the rear end means, it's not something wrong with his anatomy, but the suspension on the back of the bike is bouncing around on the ripples that are here at Snetterton. A major problem if you can't lay the power down.
And slotting up into 3rd place goes Jamie Whittam, so a great start there for Matt Llewellyn, but now push back into 4th place. It is John Reynolds who leads, but Rob McElnay, look at him, big Rob Mac, happier playing golf than riding motorcycles, but boy is he a good racing motorcyclist, and he is poised to pass.
Yeah, Rob Mac, he's just pacing himself at the moment. He's far and away quicker than Reynolds in practice anyway, but he'll be happy to sit there. He's not being troubled for his 2nd place position at the moment. But the man to watch, in my view, is Jamie Whittam, number 69, in 3rd place at the moment on the aged, absolutely ancient, almost as old as the team manager for Suzuki itself, Mick Grant. Jamie Whittam riding a motorcycle that is effectively 7 years old.
Well, and doing very well indeed, but the back end just kicked out there. Whittam ignores it. Whittam number 69 in 3rd place. Oh, what a great ride from Matt Llewellyn. He's been a thorn in the side of the factory men all year in Brixton, and he's charging well at the moment. Look at that, tucked in behind Jamie Whittam.
Yeah, a great point there, though, that you made the distinction between factoryman and privateer. Matt Llewellyn is a privateer. The front 3 runners, oh, look at the speed of the Kawasaki catching up on McElnay there. Now, that is graphic indication that they've really got the Kawasaki sorted, and McElnay shuts the door right across the face of John Reynolds. This is going to go to the wire.
Well, McElnay having forced his way to the front, John Reynolds responding in fine style. John Reynolds, a talented young man. There's the scrap for 3rd place, Whittam, and behind him Llewellyn. Then it's Ron Haslam now ahead of Tim Bourne, and the rest of the field struggling out further back. And look at it, they are closing up. Well, big blow for Ron Haslam just a few weeks ago when his nephew John Gainey, badly injured in the crash at Cadwell. He didn't think about retirement, I'm sure it crossed his mind, but he's come back as fresh as ever and still charging.
Well, of course, John Gainey is well on the road to recovery and is now at home, so I mean that's a relief to Ron and family, that's for certain. But Ron, he just chips away at this position that he's in at the moment. He is definitely going to make a manoeuvre on these people. Let's have a look at the speed of the Norton on the back straight now. This will be interesting to see if the 91 Norton is as quick as an... Oh, look at this, Christopher.
And, well, visions, well, deja vu, isn't it? That's how the Norton stormed past bikes a couple of years ago. And now Ron Haslam has wound up the wing on the JPS Norton. And Ron Haslam goes past Matt Llewellyn, and he is now in 4th place. And here is Rob Orme. Well, Rob Orme has been battling away. He's down in 17th place at the moment. And Rob Orme, who's been lumbered, you might say, with the possibility of having to ride this bike. He's a 125cc rider normally, and Rob Orme is, well, it's a new experience.
The major difference is braking techniques into the corner. You tend to brake probably slightly earlier on the 750, and the important thing is to maintain the corner speed so that on the exit to the corner you're not quite driving so hard. Obviously with the extra weight and power that can cause problems as far as high sliding or sliding off the bike.
Well, after a lifetime of 125s and 250s, Rob Orme not making a bad job of riding a 750 Yamaha Superbike.
Look at this. Whittam is now relegated back from Haslam.
So Haslam now up into third place. They have completed 9 laps of this 15-lap race. And the question is, oh, look at Ron Haslam. He's in trouble. He's out. Oh, he's off. Well, and Ron, you saw that. Ron pounded the floor. He wants to get started, and Ron Haslam, well, you can tell how unhappy that is, out of character with Ron Haslam.
Yeah, you never see him stamp his feet in any kind of tantrum. The man is very philosophical about his racing. He is so annoyed with it. It looked to me like perhaps he just couldn't slow the bike down enough into that chicane. But I think there must have been some other problem as well, because Ron he couldn't do anything with it except go straight on, and I've never actually seen Ron in that position before. McElnay, though, as I was saying, his riding style is so smooth. He is absolutely superb through this race. He is right on the edge of going back into Superbike. He signed a contract with the team Yamaha to contest British Championships as opposed to his teammate Terry Reimer, who is contesting World Superbike Championships.
Richard DeFago, number 32, is the next man who's going to get a free riding lesson from Mr. McElnay any second now as he goes past him. McElnay carving his way through the guys at the rear end of the field, heading for victory. He's on his final circuit. The checkered flag will be ready for Mr. McElnay. Coming through the chicane then for the final time. It's been a good ride, Keith.
Superb, absolutely faultless all the way through. He's got time to look by as he approaches the line now.
So, just an acknowledgement, checkered flag goes out then, and Rob McElnay is the winner. It's John Reynolds who takes second place, wave of the hand from McElnay. Third home is Jamie Whittam, and in fourth place, Matt Llewellyn.
The practice went really well for me, and I felt really confident. I knew John would go good early stages, but I think my tyres worked better, and possibly my bike was handling a bit better. So I just sort of see how he went for the first few laps, and then got my head down.
What happened there exactly?
Well, on the approaching, I got a little out of shape with the back end, and I could have attempted the corner and got around, but I seen the shortcut across the grass, I thought, and the gravel, but I thought it would have been a safer bet, but as I hit the gravel, I didn't realise they'd really fluffed the gravel up, and as soon as I took it to the gravel, it went down. So I think I just opted for the wrong choice.
The results of the first race then, Rob McElnay comfortably first on the Yamaha. He also had the fastest lap. John Reynolds, Kawasaki, was second. Jamie Whittam, Suzuki, third. And privateer Matt Llewellyn was fourth, with another race still to come in this championship. Well, we're going to concentrate on sidecars now, the Formula 2 Championship for 350cc two-stroke machines or 600cc four-stroke machines. It's the 350s which have dominated proceedings this season. The men to stop here are the championship leaders John Brindley and Chris Jones on their Yamaha, but they've had a few problems even before they've got to the start.
Drama indeed. There is Craig Hallam, the man who was fastest in practice, and he's been involved in an incident on the warm-up lap. And a chance to see the incident again, well, there's John Brindley indeed in front, closing the gap. Craig Hallam was in fact racing almost on the warm-up lap. There goes Craig Hallam's passenger rolling out of the sidecar there, and that's Michael Wynne. But it looks as though both outfits were damaged in that incident. There's Craig Hallam, and with him standing up was his passenger Michael Wynne. John Brindley was the outfit number 2, is Chris Jones. And are they going to be able to restart? And away they go. The race is on, and Craig Hallam out of it, but John Brindley did manage to get the outfits back to the start and finish line, and he hits the front, so John Brindley and Chris Jones involved in that dramatic and unusual crash on the opening lap with Craig Hallam and Michael Wynne, and they lead this race. There's the outfit of Craig Hallam and Michael Wynne involved in that incident on the warm-up lap. This is so close. Well, Big Molly, having made all the efforts, and look at this. This is the Formula 2 formation racing team here. When the music stops, you change your partners.
Yes, but I think they might be changing chairs in a moment if we're not real careful.
Well, musical chairs of a very different sort.
Oh, he's on the grass, and Bollish was on the
Brindley
was on the ground.
Well, it had to be, because there was no road left for him, was there? Richard Nelson then. These are not... cruel people have said that these sidecar racers eat their own children, but I think that's probably stretching it just a little too much.
Yes, they certainly lack in something, don't they, really? 23 leads the race. Bodice still for the front, but he has got 16 crawling all over him.
Halliday goes for the inside, can't do it. Bodice still leads. Halliday in second place. John Brindley in third spot. Richard Nelson, or maybe it's the other way around. Is it Nelson? So, yes, Nelson who's third. Brindley's turn to bring up the rear of this quartet, and again Bodice heading all sideways on. The only thing these people have not done is actually raced facing the wrong way, isn't it?
Well, there's time yet, and we're coming to that around at the chicane.
Oh, look at Richard Nelson. He wants to find a way through. He's desperate to find a way through, and he will knock a way through, I think. It's Bodice leading from Halliday. There goes Nelson. Oh, we just foot to the floor, wasn't it, that one?
Superb, and look at Halliday coming back again at him.
But Nelson's on the inside, and he's quicker. Halliday quicker. I thought Nelson would hold him off. So it's Bodice, number 23, Halliday, number 16, 3 is Richard Nelson, and in fourth place, number 2, John Brindley, and Craig Hallam, poor old Craig, all he can do is sit back out there at the chicane, thinking, I could have been out there doing that.
Yeah, but the question is, would he have wanted to be? That's the real thing. I notice on these Formula 2 sidecars, they've not got wing mirrors. Perhaps that's a design factor that Bodice really does need to stay in the
only wing mirrors they have are the passengers, as we say, who just indicate where to move over to let the other outfit through. Or Halliday tries again. He's got a much tighter line, but he loses a lot of ground. The timing actually goes in wide. He might, and Nelson hit him. Oh, Richard Nelson actually hit him, and there. Oh, I was going to say they're in trouble, but they're still on the track. Goodness gracious me, that was absolutely incredible. Well, let's see it again. And there's Bodice, number 23, leading. This is number 16 with the white outfit, and here comes Richard Nelson, and he says, look, I'd like to get through, and if you're not going to move over, the next best thing is for me to move you. Whoops, the fairing just crumpled up, and Richard Nelson was in trouble.
Well, Mark Halliday actually got it a little bit sideways on the exit there, and there it is. That's the end of their race. The fairing has crumpled under the front of the bike.
But suddenly, John Brindley has replaced Nelson as the battering ram.
Well, of course, oh, look at this. Dear me, oh dear.
Well, that really is down to a self-induced error there by Halliday. He kept going very tight, and he was almost inviting somebody to go around the outside. Rizzido up into second place, and Halliday now third.
Yeah, Halliday just seems to be a little bit sluggish through that S's section there on the slow part of the course. That's what actually caused the accident earlier.
And you see Halliday takes the tight line every time. He's real touching the apex of the corner, and he leaves a big gap. And John Brindley says, thank you very much indeed, sir. You're too kind. Through to second place. And poor old Mark Halliday, I think he did actually suffer some damage. And pulling into pit lane, that really is bad luck indeed. Well, it's been a race of absolute drama, which started even on the warm-up lap. There's number 17, Andre Witherington. Behind him, number 22, Mick Haig. Oh, what? Well, goodness gracious me.
Yes, who's riding who? That was the question there, really. Something that we haven't mentioned here, of course, that's a 600 Honda engined outfit in the front there of Mick Bodice's. It's looked a little bit quicker on the straight now and again, but I'm always proved to be a liar.
Brindley's got the inside line, and he's through.
Brindley is on the 348 Yamaha engine 2-stroke, and the bike now in second place is a 600cc 4-stroke bike. They both make up the Formula 2 races of the sidecar class.
Oh, and Bodice winds up the wing, and he winds at John Brindley. Brindley, quick as a flash, dives into the slipstream. He wants a tow up the straight. If the Honda is quicker, Brindley looks for the inside line. Oh, and he had to move over onto the dirt again to avoid making contact, and that drifted him wide. He'd lost a little bit of ground going in, and he lost a little bit of ground coming out. Well, I presume this is the outfit that Bodice must have raced in the Isle of Man TT races, Keith.
Well, I assume so. Look at the damage there to the back of Brindley's bike from the accident on the warm-up lap. You can see that. It's had no effect much, though, really. I understand why they put a few blue bits on the green bike, so we can see it when it's on the grass. 9 laps completed. This is the 10th and
final lap, and well, it's going to be now or never for Mr. Brindley, outfit number 2. Maybe he made his move just a bit too soon, Keith.
Well, that's interesting, but certainly the 350 Yamaha outfit, currently in second place of Brindley, is very quick through this section here, through the bomb hole. They're out of that section now into Coram Curve, a long, fast right-hander, 5th gear, 120 miles an hour, and it certainly looks like he's charging, but I think Bodice has got the inside line covered. But what's going to happen at the chicane? Oh, dear me, and Brindley finds his way through, but Bodice is looking for the inside line. Bodice has got a faster bike. Can he outtake him to the line, Chris?
Well, and the passenger waist, Bodice, oh dear, dear, dear. Oh, that was superb. Mick Bodice, veteran Mick Bodice. Well, he must be over 40 in Mick Bodice, and John Brindley, the younger member of the Bawtry Brigade, the famous Racing Brindleys. Well, that was a hard race run in very, very good spirits.
Well, I think Brindley knew that the Honda of Bodice was faster. Certainly Brindley's passenger, Chris Jones, did. He waved him through. It wasn't an intentional wave through in any chance whatsoever. Well, here the passing manoeuvre of Brindley. I mean, superb stuff round the outside. The most difficult of manoeuvres into the chicane. He had the brakes, he had the line, he had everything sorted out. Cut Bodice's nose straight off there. Bodice hung on the brakes a little bit longer to try for the inside line on the way out, but Brindley knew that the Honda was faster here up the hill towards the start and finish line and just outdrove him. That was not an invitation to pass. I think he was really taking the mickey out of Bodice because Bodice had the fastest bike.
I knew John was right there, and I thought he'd come diving through, and he did. I made him up with the left. But this just accelerates better than his.
You boys waving through, or was that a gesture of defeat?
It's a different horsepower thing, you see. These are a different class altogether, you see, and they've mixed them together. And they've mixed them together, and it's a bit of a different race.
There were, in fact, a few protests lodged about the mixture of the classes out there, but basically the result stands. Mick Bodice first, John Brindley second. We'll take a break there. A lot more racing still to come, including the second leg of the TT Superbike Challenge. Join us again. 100cc Supersport, based on ordinary road-going machines, but souped up for the racetrack. A strong field again, with Steve Ives, number 2 on his Yamaha, sure to be among the leaders, but there's a good chance of a local success here. Phil Borley from Southend in Essex is on pole position on the grid.
They are under starters' orders, and away they go. A bit of a ragged start. The charge is on towards Riches, and number 6, Phil Borley. It will not lead number 2, Steve Ives. He had to pick up the motorcycle. I think he's about 3rd or 4th. Well, this class on many circuits, the racing has had to be aborted because of the odd tumble, and he's getting fairly desperate out in front. Phil Borley in 2nd place. Steve Ives, number 2, was there in 3rd spot. And all we've got to do is to identify the race leader for you. And it's Brendan Smith, the local boy from Wymondham, who Wyndham leads. See, that's not being a local lad. We get to get this job right. Brendan Smith, though, is the man. Not exactly colour coordinated, but still a brightly little job. Phil Borley on the inside, and that was Sean Emmett, I think, in 3rd place, with Steve Ives back in 4th spot. So Brendan Smith and Phil Borley's probing for a way through, and has he got it? Yes, he has. Whoops, no, he's not. And not only did he not get the lead, he nearly lost it from wheel. And Steve Ives dropped back to 5th there. It's still fairly close, and they're just a bit of a procession through the chicane. Phil Borley pulling out of the slipstream. Has he got the legs on Brendan Smith? No, he's not. Smith still leads. Borley. And Smith was just 1/10 of a second slower in practice than Borley. So Brendan Smith, the local boy, or another local boy, I should say, because of course Phil Borley coming from the Anglia area as well. There's somebody taking the scenic route. I think you used that line on 1 or 2 occasions, Keith, didn't you?
Yeah, there's not much you can actually do about it when you've outbraked yourself or somebody's forced you up there. And that man, Alan Batson, who is...
Batson.
Yeah, well, he's notorious for that, isn't he, really?
And Steve Ives there, trying to get in on the action. Steve Ives up into 3rd place now. The colourful character used to be a bit of a punk character. And Steve Ives beginning to settle down, mature. sensible haircuts nowadays.
Well, I think hardly you could say mature as far as 600 ridings go, and looks for the inside line now, and surely he's going to do it down into the chicane this time. Oh, and Steve Ives is looking for the way through too, and Steve Ives finds a gap that wasn't there.
And Smith loses the lead. It drops back to 4. And, oh, Andy Murphy, well, we're getting, poor old Andy, getting closer and closer. And down goes Andy Murphy. Well, that really is sad. He was closing on that group, and he paid the penalty. Oh, and that's Baldock, I think. No, it's not. Sean Emmett, and they weren't allowed to get going, so Sean...
No, he rushed over and checked its pulse.
So, see what happens next time. Borley, Ives, Baldock and Smith. You can't write any of these 4 out as being potential race winners. And they're about to close up on a tail ender. This could end in tears. Into the chicane, and out they come. Oh dear! Goodness gracious me! And they have completed 9 laps. 1 more lap to go, and here goes Steve Ives and Borley trying to shake him out of the slipstream. But Ives goes the long way round, and Borley just let the brakes off, didn't he?
Well, he saw Ives touch the brakes, and Borley he did physically let go of that lever, just going for it. But Ives is quickest just here. He's very, very good on here. This is where Borley has made a mistake twice now. Does he make another one on the back straight? Now he's right out in the rough, and Ives is on the good clean dirt, I was going to say. Can Ives make the pass at the end of this straight as he's threatened for the last 3 laps?
Well, he's got it. It's now whenever he winds up the wick, and he's dead. Oh dear, they're all over the track. And Borley went to the middle to stop Ives coming through underneath him. And this really is going to, I think it's going to be a chicane job again, Keith.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Snetterton at the moment is designed so that we have more do-or-die manoeuvres at the chicane than we really deserve, or at least our hearts deserve. Baldock holds 3rd, Smith still 4th, but Borley leads on the last lap through Coram.
So Borley leads. Oh, and Brendan Smith having to go at Jeff Baldock behind. And here they're coming to the chicane for the final time. And it's going to be Borley, I think, the sprint to the line. Has Ives got the motor? Borley winds up the wick. Steve Ives. And here comes Brendan Smith having a go at Jeff Baldock. The charge is on. Borley's going to do it. Phil Borley wins. Steve Ives takes 2nd place. Jeff Baldock finished in 3rd spot. And Brendan Smith, a very, very good 4th place. And Phil Borley, a cool, calm, lanky character. And he has beaten old Ziggy. He's beaten Steve Ives in a very, very, very good race.
Well, follow that. We'll have a go. Coming up next, it's the 2nd leg of the Motorcycle News TT Superbike Challenge. Hello again. Well, it's back to the serious business here at Snetterton. The 2nd round of the Motorcycle News TT Superbike Challenge. Round 1, remember, was won in some style by Rob McElnay on his Loctite Yamaha. Ron Haslam, of course, crashed out in equally splendid style. He's dusted himself down, switched to his old bike, and is rearing to go again.
On the line then, the field for the 2nd leg of the MCN TT Superbike Challenge. Jamie Whittam on the inside and a good start. Reactions away well, and slotting in there behind him, number 6 is John Reynolds. Now where it is, there's number 8, Rob McElnay, about 8th or 9th place. Great start from Jamie Whittam on the Suzuki. Whittam out in front, John Reynolds in 2nd place. And Rob McElnay not making the very best of starts. And look at Reynolds winding up the Team Green Kawasaki, and the Kawasaki lining up for an overtaking manoeuvre on the inside, and Reynolds will go through. Reynolds leads, Whittam just out to ease off slightly. So it's Reynolds and Ron Haslam up into 3rd place. Ron Haslam riding last year's JPS Northern. It's Reynolds, then Whittam, then Ron Haslam, then Dave Redgate in 4th place. Well, Reynolds has forced his way past Whittam. There is McElnay in 6th spot. And where there is, there's Rob Orm on the race ringer's bike, just losing a position there. And, well, meanwhile, back at the front, it's fairly desperate. And Whittam's gone back in front. He went the long way round. that was showing that how quick the Suzuki is. There's Haslam going well, and Rob McElnay not making up progress at the rate we thought he would do. There's Haslam riding last year's Norton, having problems with the new bike, and look at the Norton. Here comes the Norton, wounding up ahead of steam, and here goes the Norton. He's going to take the lead. Well, absolutely superb, and the Norton leads. Haslam is in front, Reynolds is second, and Whittam is third. Now, how come that the Norton suddenly winds up that head of steam, Keith?
Well, I think that Ron is on last year's bike. As you quite rightly said, as McElnay comes through to fourth there, you saw the Yamaha rider through to fourth. Now, he is a real threat, but we'll continue with Ron Haslam at the front. He's on the old bike, last year's motorcycle. They've made absolutely unbelievable amounts of changes to this year's motorcycle, but we've got to ask, what good did it do, seeing that he can't get that one to work quite as well as the old bike? But Whittam now relegated down to third place. He's on an old motorcycle as well. And Dave Redgate back in fifth.
Yes, a good ride from Dave Redgate. It's Haslam who leads. John Reynolds is in second place, then Jamie Whittam, then Rob McElnay, and Dave Redgate in fifth spot. Haslam out in front. They've completed 2 laps out of 15, and well, Reynolds having a go at Whittam, couldn't do anything on that occasion. And it's a 4-way dice out in front, and Rob McElnay is about to pounce, I think, on Whittam to go through. Yes, there he goes. McElnay through to third spot. So Reynolds in second place. McElnay is third. Whittam is fourth. Dave Redgate is a very good fifth. They're all ganging up behind Ron Haslam, and we asked Ron Haslam just what kind of circuit Snetterton was.
Well, the main point is Snetterton's a very fast circuit, and you get a lot of uphills and downhills through as far as the bomb hole is concerned, and it's a bunker circuit, lots of bumps in it. So you've got a bit of everything. You've got heavy braking, you've got fast corners, you've got downhill runs, and so really it takes a lot to ride it. You get a real tight chicane. So when you say Snetterton, you've got a bit of everything in the circuit. So it's good for a rider.
Well, it may be good for a rider, and it's certainly good for this rider, but Rob McElnay was sneaking through on the inside of John Reynolds there, and he's through. Just a glimpse there of McElnay lining up that move on John Reynolds. Look at the Norton there. Remember 2 years ago when we saw the Nortons just destroy the opposition here at this same meeting, Kid?
Well, since then they've made a tremendous amount of changes, but of course this bike is the old bike. We have to remind everybody it's last year's motorcycle. This year's one is tremendously lighter, something like 30 kilos lighter than that one that he is riding today. But Ron, of course, fairly adaptable fella. Give him a garden gate and he'll ride it well. But look at McElnay, found the inside line. Well, he peeled up the edge of the paper, didn't he? And just tore it away.
There wasn't a gap there. He made a gap when there wasn't a gap without touching at them. Let's see the overtaking again, Keith.
Well, here we go again. This is why they make the front of motorcycles pointed, so you can get them under the other one in the lead. And that was just a case of opportunistic riding. Rob got it on the white line, forced it under Ron, and Ron could do nothing about it whatsoever except let him go.
Well, how are things going with our man with the camera bike, Rob Orme? There he is, having a rare and very pleasant outing, I'm sure, on Ray Stringer's 750 Yamaha. Not a bad performance.
No, good performance indeed. I mean, extremely difficult for somebody that's used to riding the lightweight bikes of 125s and 250. This is what it looks like to him. Rev counter in the right-hand side there as he drops through into the S's. Flicks right, second gear for this turn. A little bit of a blip under the bridge. Oh, Rob, you're on the wrong side of the white line. Down into what's known as the bomb hole, which is an awful corner. Up into Coram, through fourth, into fifth gear, 120 miles an hour through the last part of this course, drifting out now out to the left, and then down to the horrible chicane that every rider dislikes, every car driver dislikes, as well as it happens on this particular course. Flick left now, and then right again, and onto the start and finish straight. Well, he looks pretty, doesn't he?
One of the problems, of course, Norton had is the fact that they've not had an awful lot of time. I think the bike was put together mid-January sometime, the new bike, and I think they've only had about 6 days running it out on a racetrack to get it right, and the big Japanese factories, they'd run it for 18 months in secret every day till they got it right, wouldn't they?
Absolutely, and the new 1991 Norton is fundamentally different to this one that Ron is riding now. Even the engine rotates in a different direction. I think there's going to be some rotation in a minute. And Whittam, brilliantly, absolutely. Ron Haslam again struggling on the brakes there into that turn. As we've seen him do before, he was struggling on the brakes into that turn, and Whittam absolutely grabbed the space as Ron ran wide.
Yeah, well, chance to see it again. See, there's Whittam. He's closed right up on Haslam anyway. He's thinking, come on, Ron. Oh, I can't wait here forever. I've got to go.
No, Ron went wide on the brakes there into that turn. He will be throwing a tantrum over that again. That really, really was a mistake by Ronnie there. He's trying so desperately to keep these men at bay and just ran a little wide on the in-turn to that corner.
And nearly lost another place to Reynolds. There is the race leader, number 8, Rob McElnay. And there's Whittam, and Ron Haslam has recovered his composure after making that mistake. Closes on the Suzuki. Now, Haslam will look for a chance to wind up the wick to get the Norton.
Well, he's done it before, Chris, today, so and in fact in this race, so there's a great chance of him doing it again. And look at John Reynolds.
Yes, Reynolds lining up. I think Reynolds thinks he can do the same thing as Whittam did, can he? No, he can't. Not a little tidier this time through.
Well, anybody that's wondering where Haslam's teammate Trevor Nation is, Trevor Nation crashed on Friday in practice, so he's out of it with an injured ankle. Elected not to race, indeed, was ordered not to race, didn't pass the fitness test, so Ronnie's having to manage with last year's bike without any team support.
They are on lap 14 of a 15-lap race, so under 2 laps for Messrs Whittam, Haslam and Reynolds to sort out their own private little dispute for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and less than 2 laps for Rob McElnay to put the icing on what has been a very fine cake for him. Look at the Norton. Oh dear, that must be so discouraging for Jamie. Oh, but Jamie comes back on the inside. I thought he was going to come back and slot through.
Well, it's all down to that chicane again, Chris, the horrible chicane. I think we're going to see Mr Whittam really climbing all over Rogers there.
And here's Haslam coming up to start their final circuit. This is lap 14. They've got 1 and a bit laps to go.
Well, my hat comes off to Mick Grant and Team Suzuki. They've done tremendous good with this bike that Whittam is now passing Haslam on again. Brilliant stuff from James Whittam, but the Suzuki is so old, it really shouldn't be in this race, it should be in a museum.
Well, it should be in the classic race that we may see later on in the programme. And there goes the Norton, and it just goes storming past. But Whittam is so brave. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Well, it was a determined Haslam and a brave Whittam, and the determination won out.
Well, this is the last lap, of course. If anybody needed reminding for that, go for your pills now, because I think it's going to be down to our sandpit and chicane as Ron aviates the rear front wheel. If he aviates the rear wheel, we're in big trouble.
Yes, if you've got a pacemaker, I should go and feed the cat or put the kettle on for a cup of tea. This is the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Rob McElnay well out in front. It's the final lap of the 2nd leg of the NCN TT Superbike Challenge. And this is where Whittam's going to do it very shortly. Coming up towards the chicane. There's the race leader, Rob McElnay, about to enter the chicane for the last time. The Whittam looking for the inside line. Oh, and he's done it! Ron went wide. Well, before they even got to the chicane, Ron went wide. And can the Norton wind up? I think Whittam will hang on. The front wheel paws the air. Whittam has a look. There's McElnay crossing the line. Who's he going to be? Well, Whittam by a wheel, I think. Whittam by a wheel. Haslam in 3rd place. And John Reynolds, far from a disinterested spectator, in 4th place. Well, what a great finish to a great race. But let's not forget, this is the man who won. A double for Rob McElnay, and is not Rob McElnay riding superbly?
Ron were having a lot of problems with his gearbox. I could see that he was jumping out of gear and he was having to run wide. He was going down the box and hitting neutrals. And I just thought, please, just let it carry on, Missy, because that was the only thing that was keeping me with him. But last lap, he knew where, I think I had a little bit on him into Corums, and he knew that, and he went in hard and just slid a little bit wide, and I managed to just pick up inside just like.
Congratulations, good one there. You didn't have the best start, but you soon caught up.
No, I've had a little bit of trouble getting off the line today, and I was happy to be where I was for the first few laps and see how they sort themselves out. But then I saw Ron hitting the front, and from early in the year, the Norton was really quick. So I thought about try and get through to the front and see how he goes.
Time now for our big race, the Race of Aces. 15 laps of the Snetterton circuit for the top riders. This race, of course, has been won by some of the sport's top names: Mike Hailwood, Mick Grant, Phil Reed, Wayne Gardner, Barry Sheen, and our own Keith Huewan. He's in the commentary box these days, of course, but there are some past winners in the field today. Sadly, not the Norton racer Trevor Nation. He indeed took a fall in practice for the race and has failed a late fitness test. He was the winner here last year, and that means that as Norton aimed to make it a hat-trick of wins in this race, Ron Haslam flies the black flag on his arm. Another man to watch out for is on the Yamaha, the Loctite Yamaha, Rob McElnay. He's certainly in fine form. But what about the chances of the privateers in this race? They, of course, don't have the backing or support of a team.
It's very difficult because obviously you can only go so far as we can with a standard bike. Obviously they have got works bikes and they do things better, mainly because of money. You know, if we had some more money, we could modify our bike to suit and try and make it steer quicker and a little bit quicker on performance. But we're not, you know, it's not a million miles away, but obviously not close enough.
And what about your familiarity with the 750?
Yeah, it's a little bit different this year. It's my second year on it. On the 750. Last year I was on a 750, but it's the first year from a 250, and there's a big difference. It took a year of learning, and I'm still learning now, really.
So, the Race of Aces, one of the greatest events on the British road racing calendar. Some of the greatest names, including Mike Hailwood and company, and away they go at the start of this 15-lapper. Another good start there for Matt Llewellyn in second place, but it's Jamie Whittam on the Suzuki who leads John Reynolds on the inside, number 6, Dave Redgate. Oh, and Ron Haslam was well down. A terrible start there for Haslam, and Jamie Whittam leads. And here's the picture from Rob Orm's 750 Yamaha, well, Ray Stringer's 750 Yamaha, but ridden here by Rob Orm. Runs a bit wide, but and there goes Ron Haslam. Bye-bye, Ron, on the JPS Norton, making up for a terrible start. And as Rob Orm sticks in the middle of the pack, Ron Haslam moving up there on the right of the picture, number 20, down in about, still 14th or 15th place, Keith.
Yeah, it looked like they switched the lights from red to green very, very quickly, and I think Ron was caught with the proverbial trousers around his ankles on that particular occasion.
Whittam leads, then it's James, then John Reynolds, then Matt Llewellyn, and Ron Haslam battling his way through the pack. And, well, one good piece of news for him, and that's Rob McElnay's not that far up the front. Whittam, then Reynolds, then Matt Llewellyn. Behind him, it's Dave Redgate. Then it's Rob McElnay. Then Roger Burnett. And Ron Haslam still a long way down with an awful lot to do. And Whittam is extending his lead. The end of the first lap. Whittam leads from Reynolds. Then it's Matt Llewellyn. Rob McElnay is fourth. Then Dave Redgate. Then Roger Burnett.
Well, Whittam's really got to get a move on now, right at the front. He's got a clear road in front of him. The only chance he's really got, seriously, of winning this race is if he can make a break in the early laps. McElnay is the fastest man on the track today, there's no doubting that, so Whittam has got to take the major advantage of this still air in front of him.
Well, a clear track as well. He's got nothing to slow him down, nothing to get in the way of his racing line. Ron Haslam 10th at the end of that opening lap, and behind Jamie Whittam on the Team Mick Grant Castrol Suzuki is John Reynolds on the Kawasaki. So Whittam still out in front, Reynolds holding up the pack behind. Oh no, Matt Llewellyn's through, so well, Reynolds has gone, Reynolds has disappeared. Now whether he's taken a tumble, I honestly don't know. There, that was the green meanie of Tim Bourne, but I didn't see John Reynolds then. It's Matt Llewellyn, and Llewellyn loses out because McElnay just shuts the door, slots through on the inside, and Rob McElnay up into second place. Here's Ron Haslam, number 20, and John Reynolds out then off the second lap. Whittam leads, 2 laps gone. Rob McElnay, number 8, is second. Number 15, Matt Llewellyn on the Flitwick Motorcycles Yamaha. Then Roger Burnett, then Dave Redgate. And Whittam under pressure now from Rob McElnay. We're back with the leaders. Matt Llewellyn not being shaken off, Keith.
No, but Rob Mac really is just sitting there waiting for it to happen. He's the smoothest man on the track. Jamie Whittam looks a little bit out of order here and there, and so he should be on a 7-year-old motorcycle. Rob Mac's got a tighter line, he looks smoother, his bike's not jumping all over the track. He can conserve his energies at the 15-lap race, so they've got ages to go yet. Rob Mack's going to pick his point and just blast past Jamie Whittam. I don't think Whittam, even with the talents he's got, is ever going to stand a chance of beating Rob Mack today.
And Rob McElnay doesn't have to take any risks, any dangerous moves to get through. Whittam tucked in behind the fairing there. All the body, his elbows tucked in, knees tucked in. Whittam still leads. Rob McElnay, number 8, is second. Number 15, Matt Llewellyn, the privateer on the Fitbit Motorcycles Yamaha, is in third place. And the boy from Leicester going so well. McElnay, again, as Keith Huewan says, really is looking so relaxed and tailing tailing Jamie. I was just going to say, Keith, that Rob McElnay, one of the few big names who's never actually won this race.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
It was a compliment. Virtually everyone else has. There's number 10, Roger Burnett. Behind him, Mike Edwards. And behind Mike Edwards, Ron Haslam. And Haslam's got to start quickening his pace. I would have thought Ron should have been past these two by now.
Yeah, but look at this, Mike Edwards. I mean, this is the old and the new, isn't it, really? Roger Burnett, who is actually probably towards the end of his career. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that too much. And Mike Edwards, who really and truly is right in the middle of his and charging for all the things that Roger Burnett has in life and has achieved in life. Mike Edwards is trying to do, and he is climbing all over the Honda rider at the moment.
Well, Mike Edwards, one of the Bellstamp Brigade, trying hard to get past the Sokolina Honda machine of Roger Burnett. Now, where's the pace of the North? And, well, I would have thought Ron might have had one of them there, Keith.
Yeah, but you can only use the pace of the Norton if you can lay the power on the tarmac, as Mike Edwards gets out of the seat. I was just about to say about laying the power on the tarmac, as Mike Edwards gave us a graphic description of what happens when it doesn't grip. But Ron Haslam has to be able to put the power on, out of the turn, that little bit faster than everybody else.
Oh, you mean like that?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Ron.
And a faller there, that's Matt Llewellyn, I think. It looks like Llewellyn's, looks like his thigh, looks like his leathers. And it is Matt Llewellyn. Well, that is sad. Poor Matt trying so hard to stay with the leaders. Rob McElnay now at the front of the field, ahead of Jamie Whittam. Confirmation, there he is. There is the race leader being shadowed by Jamie Whittam. The red flag is out. The race is being stopped to get some treatment there to Matt Llewellyn.
Matt Llewellyn was taken to the Norfolk and Norwich Hospital, kept in for a week with crushed vertebrae. But he's been competing again for the past 3 weekends, although he says, in his own words, he's a bit stiff. So the Race of Aces was restarted, sadly without him, a distinct disadvantage for the leaders, but a chance for others to make a new bid for the front.
And in they go then, the restart of this race. The tyres still warm. The charge is on, and I think one or two of the riders may well have thought that this was the start of a warm-up lap, but it's not. It's the start or the restart of the race. Well, let's see who's hit the front. There's number 8, Rob McElnay. It's as it was in the first race. Jamie Whittam hits the front first.
But the good news there, Chris, is that number 20, Ron Haslam, is much further forward on the restart.
So Haslam there in third place, Whittam the race leader, McElnay in second spot. There's Whittam, number 69, number 8, Rob McElnay, number 20, Ron Haslam, then number 10, Roger Burnett, behind him, number 14, Dave Redgate.
Well, of course, this race now, the second leg, we're going to have to add the aggregate times together, which is a real pain to get organised, but we're going to try and attempt to work that out here in the commentary box for you.
Whittam and Ron Haslam runs wide, Burnett behind him, and one or two people using all the track and just a little bit more through the chicane, and Haslam has lost a fair bit of ground on the exit, and he's losing contact with the front two. So, 8 laps remaining in this race of aces, run now in 2 parts because of the accident to Matt Llewellyn. There is number 20, Ron Haslam in third place.
Yeah, Ron Haslam using every single piece of the road and the bit in the rough the other side of the white line as well, because he knows that if he can get onto this straight very, very quickly indeed, he can make up the ground that he loses to these other riders on some of the turns.
Roger Burnett is fourth, then comes Dave Redgate behind him. This is the rest of the pack following through, and there's Rob Orr having a much better run on Ray Stringer's
I'm very good at listening, and Ray Stringer, my teammate, has given me a lot of tips, but trying to use those tips and put them into action and try and get good lap times and pass other guys has been very difficult, because it's easy to listen, but to actually put it into action out there at over 130, 140 miles an hour, it's a quite different thing. The wind's been blowing, and there's been 3 and 4 abreast into corners. It's been like something like a rodeo, I can imagine.
And Jamie Whittam still hanging on to the lead. Well, is there a problem with McElnay? McElnay dropping back there.
Well, that could be anybody's guess at this particular point. Certainly Rob Mack, I'd have thought, wouldn't have wanted to lose touch quite that much, because he's got Haslam that's not so very far away from the rear of the Yamaha.
Well, McElnay trying hard there, apparently. Haslam getting closer, and look at the gap that Whittam has opened up on this lap. And, well, it is Whittam, I think, that's extending the gap, because Haslam doesn't appear to be that much closer.
And Jamie Whittam on the brakes there was completely sideways on into the S as well.
And McElnay now beginning to look a little bit ragged. The imminent arrival of the Black Norton has now made these two men suddenly lose their composure.
Well, of course, Ron Haslam is the man, really, isn't he, in England, as far as being able to ride all types of motorcycles in all types of weathers, on all types of tracks. And whatever the problems Ron's had, he will sort himself out psychologically and riding style-wise to suit those particular problems.
Now, Rob McElnay looking over his shoulder, and I don't remember seeing Rob McElnay. He's got a problem. I know the Norton is quicker, but I think Rob McElnay has got a problem, Keith. I've never seen McElnay start looking over his shoulder before.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Certainly the amount that he's dropped back.
He's set up again there, and he's slowing. McElnay is in trouble, so it will not be this year that Rob McElnay wins the race of aces. Now, let's look at this. Jamie Whittam won it in 1988. There is McElnay, and he's about to be caught by Burnett, Spike Edwards, and there we are. Yeah, McElnay in trouble. Well, what a big disappointment for Rob McElnay. He's looking over his shoulder again. It's the end of the race. He'll be into pit lane this time. Well, what cruel misfortune for Rob McElnay. Well, adding the two parts of the race together, 13 laps have been completed, 2 more laps to go, and the gap now stretched to 4.437 seconds. So Whittam looking set out in front, but motorcycle racing has a way of throwing up a dramatic roll of the dice. Jamie Whittam on the charge. Less than 2 laps to go now for Whittam to get the checkered flag, and with a second in the first 6-lap part of this race and a win in the second part, Whittam will be the overall winner. But Ron Haslam, I'm sure, would be a lot happier with second place, but he would like to McElnay been there to have duffed him up, I think, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Whittam had a great big long look behind them when he came onto the straight to make sure that he'd not got to do too much in the closing stages of the race. But look at Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards, a great ride here. He really has been a very smooth operator.
So Spike Edwards, number 56, he's in 3rd spot. It's Whittam leading from Haslam. Mike Edwards is 3rd, behind him number 10, Roger Burnett, then number 14, Dave Redgate. And still just over 4 seconds the gap as they go into the final lap, and Roger Burnett winding up the wig. Will he catch Spike Edwards on this final circuit?
Well, certainly if anybody's got it worked out, our man Roger Burnett will have. But look at James Whittam still over on the rough stuff. He's not going to let anything happen, even if he has to coast home from this position.
Whittam then, your race leader, and a glimpse, just a glimpse in the background of Ron Haslam. There's Haslam, number 20, in 2nd place. Then this two-way scrap, and Burnett goes for the inside line. And I think Roger Burnett may well have done it, timed it perfectly. And Spike Edwards is a brave old soul, but bravery doesn't always cut it, does it, Keith?
Well, Roger Burnett knew what he had to do there, and he really put pressure on Mike Edwards. But Mike Edwards responded brilliantly to it, but was just edged out into the tight part of the course. But this man's not edged out at all, Chris. Last bend.
And the back end just bouncing all over the track, to the left, to the right. Jamie Whittam, it's going to be a good ride. And it's going to be a popular win this. The checkered flag is ready. Jamie Whittam has won the race of aces. Well, fine result. There's Ron Haslam taking second place in the second part. And Roger Bennett hangs on to third place from Spike Edwards. But no doubt that Jamie Whittam has won the race of aces, and a big victory wheelie from Jamie Whittam.
That's confirmation then of Jamie Whittam's second success in the race of aces, Ron Haslam's second, and worth mentioning that our man Rob Orme finished a commendable 10th.
I kept my head down and down. I kept going as hard as I could because I knew Rob were there, because I was getting just a plus, which meant there's somebody right behind you. And then when I got the +5, I sneaked a look behind, I must admit, and I saw it was Ron 4 or 5 seconds behind. So I didn't take it easy because I know Ron's got a quick bike, and I wouldn't have put it past him catching me. But I just kept going. I wasn't going to fall off anyway, put it that way. But I kept my head down.
Well done. Looking for a hat trick now.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right, back to the bikes now, the 250cc Grand Prix class. Smaller machines, but they are indeed Grand Prix machines all the same. A stepping stone, if you like, to the World Championship Grand Prix class. The rider to beat here could be number 2, Alan Carter from Brighouse on the Silcoline Honda. But watch out as well for Nigel Bosworth, number 19. He's the fastest in practice on his Yamaha. And also riding a Yamaha, Steve Sawford, number 5, from Tempsford in Bedfordshire.
And basically, the reason we're giving all our efforts to the one class is because with just riding the 125 and 250, you couldn't properly set up both bikes in the given time at a British meeting. And also, I'm doing the 250 European Championship this season, so I can put all my efforts into the one class, and it's certainly reaping the benefits.
But one of the fastest in the field, Kevin Mitchell, a Grand Prix rider, found himself at the back of the grid.
The start is almost off, and away they go then. Kevin Mitchell at the back of the grid. He's got an awful lot of work to make up. But the man who were quick in practice, number 2, Alan Carter, third fastest, and he slots to the front. Number 5, Steve Sawford up there as well. But Kevin Mitchell, he's got a mountain to climb, Keith Huewan.
Well, a mountain that he's never going to be able to climb, I don't think, and that's if the Aprilia stays with him. He's had nothing but problems with the Aprilia. Back row of the grid, last man in qualifying for a race that he could win easily under normal circumstances.
Well, Mitchell, as we say, the lap record holder, and he's got 12 laps to come from the back of the grid to the front. Alan Carter is the man who leads the pack at the moment, and that looked like Nigel Bosworth in second place. Third there was number 5, Steve Sawford. Keep our eye open for number 47, Kevin Mitchell. Carter number 2. There's Bozzy, there's Steve Sawford. Mitchell has begun to move up a little bit. He's not gone that far. And Graham Mitchell, he's the brother of Kevin Mitchell up there, and there is Kevin Mitchell. Well, the charge is on, Keith. Maybe we spoke too soon. Maybe he can get to the front.
Well, I think as far as his talent's concerned, he can get to the front. The problem he has is whether the motorcycle is capable of it today, and it's a bit temperamental with him.
Alan Carter leads then the end of the first lap. Number 19, Nigel Bosworth. Number 5, Steve Sawford. Then numbers 27, 16, that's Ian Challoner. 16, Alan Jeffrey, the man who drives trains for a living from Melton Mowbray. And in 9th place, on the end of the opening lap, there is this man, number 47, Kevin Mitchell, a Grand Prix rider, and from up in Preston, Lancashire. And they've switched from Yamaha machinery to Aprilias, and they are suffering at the moment.
Oh, look at this, and Bosworth looks for the inside line on Carter there. Number 2, Carter still leads. This man is annoyingly a talented chap, isn't he?
Well, he is indeed. Alan Carter comes from a very talented and famous Yorkshire family. His brother, the late Kenny Carter, people will remember as a speedway rider. Nigel Bosworth second, then Steve Sawford, and then the bus there, number 47, Kevin Mitchell in there, and Mitchell, I'm sure, is moving up for the front 3, pulling away now from the pack. And Steve Sawford is well capable of zapping both of these guys, Keith.
Well, he is, of course, and he's well placed for that. Third place at Snetterton, slipstream on the last lap might well do him a bit of good. But at the moment, Carter holds the advantage. He apparently had the wrong gear in his bike for qualifying. He says, he claims, 4th gear was wrong at this next turn. But look at this, Sawford, look for the inside line, but not a chance. Nigel Bosworth holds second place.
Steve Sawford has to tuck in and move over because you've got to be on the right line for that first right-hander. So they were looking at second and third place man, Nigel Bosworth from Stoke Golding, up near Nuneaton, very close to the Mellifrost circuit. Bozzy looks over his left shoulder. Steve Salford still tucked in there behind. A whole gaggle, the heat shimmering the picture of that grid behind. And look at Salford winding up the wick. And Bozzy's getting close as well. Well, Carter certainly had the legs. The Silcoline Honda pulled away from Bosworth and from Salford on the start and finish straight. But on the twiddly bits, they came back on them, Keith.
Well, nothing like a bit of twiddly bits to get the race close together, but look at this now. There's that man Mitchell moving through again. He really is on the pace.
Oh, and a faller there, and that was number 17. That's Peter Knight, and one of your local lads, Peter Knight from Felixstowe. Well, that's very sad. Peter Knight out of this one. Still struggling to get the Aprilia sorted out. Look at Carter just stretched the advantage on the straight, but here come his rivals. 19 Bosworth, 5 is Salford. Salford on the St. Neots motorcycles, Yamaha, which has lots of problems this year. A couple of nasty falls, both of which were not his fault at all. Left him a bit battered and bruised as Mr. Salford. Carter looks over his shoulder. I think he thought he'd left him for dead then, and his vision filled with Bosworth, and Bosworth seizes the chance. He knows that Carter will not have been pleased to see the motorcycles right behind him. Bozzy goes to the inside, can't do it, has to tuck in behind Alan Carter, and Salford seizes the chance. Well, Bozzy just was dozing there, and Salford made him pay the penalty.
Well, he was looking on the inside line into the S's there, really and truly, and he had to slow it up a bit too much, and Salford saw his chance and took the place. So Salford now in second place. Interested to note on Bosworth. Bosworth went, and we're on to the replay. So Bosworth looking for the inside line, couldn't make it, just grabs the brake for a little bit too long perhaps. Salford sees the line through here, round the outside, which leaves him nicely placed for the inside line into the tight pit of the S's.
And here we are, look at Mr. Salford. He's now on the rear wheel, and well, Salford was very quick in practice. He liked Snetterton, he looked for the inside line again, and I tell you what, I reckon the Salford Yamaha is as quick as the Silcoline Works Honda.
Without a doubt. Now it's interesting to note also that our man Nigel Bosworth is on a Yamaha, the third place man at the moment. He went from Aprilia last year, and of course Aprilia being the downfall of Kevin Mitchell at the moment.
Well, Kevin Mitchell up into 5th place, so not so much of a downfall at the moment. Look at this. Salford winds up the wick, the quick part of the Snetterton circuit, levels with Alan Carter, and goes ahead. Well, that was superb. Salford just slopped past Alan Carter, and, well, Alan Carter, Mighty Mouse as he used to be known when he was just a whippersnapper, he will not be pleased about that.
No, and there's lots of time left in this race now. We're coming back with the replay of this. Salford gets into the slipstream of Alan Carter, into the still air behind the 250 rider in front of him, pulls out of the slipstream onto the inside of the circuit and just makes a hand signal and blasts his way past Carter.
Into the sweeping right-hander, Salford. Carter right up with him. Bosworth not out of the frame either. Now, will Carter go through? Not this time.
No, but will he be on the tail of Salford here if he can pull out onto this back straight as close as he can? Bosworth certainly did, and Carter is in the slipstream, but the Honda does not have the power to even pull alongside the Yamaha when he's in the slipstream, and Bosworth does. Is Bosworth going to do it this time?
Bosworth is there. He's got the better line. He must be in front. Oh, no! But he's through to second. Well, he got Carter, and he almost had Salford. Well, oh, dear, dear, dear. And Alan Carter nearly clipped the rear wheel of Nigel Bosworth's data tool Yamaha, and that really could have been a nasty moment. Alan Jeffrey, number 16, there's 47, Kevin Mitchell, he's on the charge, moving up well. Adrian Clark, the young man from Langley Mill, that's Ron Haslam territory, he's there in 6th place. Salford, Bosworth, Carter. This is the slowest part of the circuit. They wind up the wing onto the start, finish straight, tuck in behind the slipstream. There's Kenny Mitchell in 5th spot. Kenny joined the leaders.
Well, then, if the leaders trip each other up every lap and they're jockeying for position here, up into riches, and Bosworth goes into the lead. Absolutely brilliant. Salford relegated to second place.
Well, Bosworth got that all worked out, and it was pre-planned. There was no reflex job there. Bosworth had decided what he was going to do, and Bosworth now in front. He was fastest in practice, and he was fastest by, well, almost half a second, and he's stretching that advantage. Carter coming through on the inside with Salford. Will Salford hold him off? who's going to be the bravest? Well, it's Steve Salford. You wouldn't really necessarily put money on that, would you?
No, I certainly wouldn't spend any of your money on that, let alone some of mine. Bosworth, though, he's used to leading from the front of a good race, isn't he? This man quite accomplished in leading from the front, so it's interesting to see if he can make capital of his position at the moment.
Well, Bosworth's lead has suddenly been decimated. They've just sliced it away. They're back with him. And, oh, there, Carter's going to go through. Yes, oh, and he just chopped up the front wheel there. Just took away the racing line from Steve Salford. And if Steve Salford has not seen the red haze now, I don't think he's going to.
Well, this is an indication of what happens when you're on a slow bike. You just have to go for the desperate move. Alan Carter saw that Salford had got the thing bouncing on the brakes into the Russell chicane and just took his opportunity in a place that I certainly wouldn't have ever wanted to do that.
And Steve Salford tucked in there behind, and Carter's now looking for the lead again. Couldn't do it. But Salford's back again with him.
Yeah, Bosworth there was weaving from side to side, trying to get Alan Carter out of his slipstream, down the straight, onto the brakes, into the S's part of the track. Carter certainly has a motorcycle that's a bit difficult to use on a straight line at the moment. He just doesn't seem to have that bit of power, even equal power as the Yamahas, to take advantage of the slipstream effect of the leading bike.
Well, I don't want to do a Carter's curse here, but Mr. Bosworth... Oh, and Alan Carter's doing exactly the same again. That's how he passed Salford the previous lap, and he goes. It's an action replay, deja vu. Carter does it again, and Alan Carter hits the front, and Nigel Bosworth... Oh, he just pulled down to the slipstream, winds up the wick. I'm surprised he didn't wave at Alan as he went past.
Well, really and truly, that's slightly annoying for Carter. If he didn't have a red haze over his face at that particular point, he will do now.
And Kevin Mitchell's charges on. Kevin Mitchell now up into 4th place, battling with Alan Jeffrey, but a long gap for Kevin Mitchell. What a pity he wasn't up there with the front, because he certainly would have been running with this group. Kevin Mitchell, number 47, behind him, number 16, the train driver from Melton Mowbray, Alan Jeffrey in 5th spot.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Mitchell, from the back row of the grid, stone off the grid. That is amazing to make. And this is quite a classy field, 250 Grand Prix bikes, notoriously close racing anyway through English championships.
They are on the 10th lap of this 12-lap race, and Mitchell is getting closer. I don't think it's all over yet. There they come into the chicane. There is Kevin Mitchell. He can see them, and that will inspire him. And as they continue to cut each other up, chop each other up, Carter and Bosworth side by side, pass over the start and finish side. Bosworth is on the inside. And yes, that's the better line. Move over, Mr. Carter, says Nigel Bosworth.
Well, I don't know whether he said it, but he certainly got body language that had something like that being said. But Carter, really, he has got to play a wily game here, because he's on the slower motorcycle. I would expect him to try and do a do-or-die into the chicane on the last lap, and that is really going to be very interesting indeed.
Well, both Bosworth and Salford, depending on who. Look at Salford's bike just eating up the gap between himself and Carter. Is he going to be able to get through? No, he has to tuck him behind, but just a glimpse there of Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell is getting closer. If they continue to chop each other up, Kevin Mitchell could catch them. Oh, and here comes Carter again. He's all set to do it again, but I don't think Mr. Bosworth is going to let it.
Carter there was very, very fast on getting the power on out through the bomb hole turn. He really, really did get the power on very, very hard indeed, and drove right at the rear end of Nigel Bosworth. And he's round the outside again. Well, I don't know where he finds the grip to do that, but if he's not careful, he's going to be making sandcastles.
They are about to complete lap 11. One more lap to go, and it's Alan Carter out in front, but Nigel Bosworth winds up the wing of the Data Tall Yamaha and hits the front again. Salford in 3rd place, a far from disinterested spectator. Do not rule Steve Salford out of this one yet, but I don't think Kevin Mitchell is going to get in on the action, but he might. Bosworth leads, Carter in 2nd place, Salford 3rd.
And we're onto the back straight now. This is where Bosworth has got a faster motorcycle than Carter, but at the end of this straight, Bosworth is a little bit slack on the brakes. I've noticed that, and I think Carter might well make a move here.
And Carter goes through to the inside, and oh, he couldn't do it. You can see him flicking the throttle as they go down through the gearbox. Bosworth then leads. Carter is in 2nd place, the final circuit. It's been a 12-lap battle that's had us on the edge of our chairs here. Bosworth then Salford in 3rd place. No sign of Kevin Mitchell. What a pity. Would have been nice for him to join this group. But it's going to be a 3-way scrap. And is Salford going to get there? Now, what is Bosworth going to do? He knows what Carter wants to do, and can he do it? Yes, he's blocked him off this time. He knew exactly. Now the sprint is on, and Bosworth will win the sprint surely. Nigel Bosworth is trying to get Carter out of the slipstream, and it's going to be a sprint to the line. Who is it going to be? It's Bosworth by a wheel. Nigel Bosworth won by a wheel. He's pleased. Alan Carter in second place should be delighted. It's been Alan Carter's riding ability that's kept him in this race. Nigel Bosworth the winner, Alan Carter second, Steve Salford third, and a fine ride from Kevin Mitchell taking fourth place. And this is the moment of decision, destiny, if you like. Alan Carter trying hard to do it again, but this time Nigel Bosworth just a little bit quicker than he'd been on the previous lap. Carter couldn't get round him and then slot in front, and once he was ahead, Nigel Bosworth knew that his Yamaha had got the legs of the Honda, but it was close, very, very close. Carter pulls out of the slipstream, both tucked in behind the fairing, flat on the throttle, and look at that, Bozzy by a wheel.
Alan gave me a run for his money, as he always does, but I felt confident all today, and I knew I was in for a win, I reckon.
Well, you were quick, but my word, you didn't have to get some grip around those corners.
Yeah, it's good old Alan was, yeah, he's... you can never forget about Alan, he's a star, like, always.
Well, here he is, joining the fray. Alan, well done, what a terrific race. Where did you get that grip from? I don't know where you got around those corners.
Yeah, that's probably the best race I've been in all year. Real tough. The bike it's been running slow all week, and I really tried hard to win the race, and you could probably see it was a little bit slow on top speed, but fantastic. I mean, a good second, good race.
Steve, we thought you had it at one stage, but what a competition all round.
Thanks. Oh, it's such a hard race, and those two are such seasoned, hard campaigners as well. The last two laps, I just lost that little bit of toe on the back straight, and that was it. They pulled away from me, but
very quick.
It was a quick pace out there, yeah.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Well, a splendid end to a splendid meeting here at Snetterton. Next week we have not just one, not two indeed, but three sports for the price of one on wheels, with land yachting, karting and cycle speedway. Join us then. Good night.